Welcome to the Human Evolution Podcast, where we explore the evolution of human consciousness in the modern world. I'm your host, Breanna Rae Blaney. Do you have a healthy relationship with money? Is it something that has felt confusing to you, or maybe something that you have been chasing after, wondering whether it is really what is going to support you in creating a fulfilling life? If so, this episode is for you. Money is one of the most powerful forces shaping modern life. It's infused in every single decision that we make as human beings, right? It influences the careers that we choose, the relationships that we're in. Honestly, every little decision that we make, from the coffee we buy, can be influenced by money. I started my career in finance out of a desire to provide for myself. And now, having been in that industry for over a decade, it's been fascinating to see the wide array of people's relationships with money. I've worked with thousands of people and have been studying how money influences and shapes how we relate to one another as human beings, the decisions that we make, and ultimately how money is a force and a tool for human evolution. This begs the question, how much money is enough money? How do you balance the financial aspect of decisions with all of the other aspects? What actually is money? And how is your relationship with it influencing the way that you design your life? How can money be used as a force for good and as a fuel to create the life that you desire and the world that we desire? As a society, we have become obsessed with accumulation of this thing. It's shown in social media, the cars that we want to drive, the homes that we want to live in, all of the material goods that often we are being asked to consume and to accumulate. Yet money, by its very nature, was a human invention, which means that we have the opportunity and the choice to choose what our relationship is going to be with it. When did we stop relating to money as a tool and begin to conflate it with our identity, our sense of self-worth, and choose to relinquish a lot of the things that maybe we actually really desire to do and create in life in pursuit of this thing? When did wealth become synonymous with money? And how do we begin to revolutionize our relationship with it? That's what we're going to be exploring today. Today, we'll discuss why humans created money and how it was really meant to be used. One of the greatest plagues in Western society, this modern wealth dysmorphia. How money reflects your relationship with yourself and how to begin shifting it, and how to reframe the way that you see money and wealth to ultimately create the life that you really desire. Let's start at the root. What actually is wealth? What does the word wealth mean? The word wealth comes from the Old English word welle, meaning well-being. At its inception, the word wealth was not synonymous with money. It was actually about the well-being of an individual and the well-being of society. Across a variety of ancient traditions, we see similar things. In Vedic philosophy, one of the aims of life is artha, meaning prosperity. And wealth, in that sense, was not just about the accumulation of a monetary resource or any resource for that matter, but it was about having the resources that you needed to live a comfortable and prosperous life. It's no secret. We need things like a home and a roof over our head and food to feed ourselves to fulfill our full potential in life and to live the life that we desire. So it wasn't ashamed or demonished to have money or resources, but it simply meant that it was not the ultimate goal. We see this in other societies as well. In Japanese, we hear the word ikigai, meaning purpose, or wa, harmony. In those traditions, it was about understanding that, yes, wealth and purpose was meaningful and important, but it was not ultimately the end goal. In traditional Chinese philosophy and Taoist and Confucian thought, wealth was considered secondary to virtue, harmony, and right relationship. In ancient Greece, Plutos, or wealth, was distinguished from eudaimonia, or human flourishing. Understanding that really living a wealthy life required contribution and living by virtuous values to the well-being of society. In all of these aspects, wealth did not just equal money. It was a broader state of well-being, a state of the human condition, and an aim to evolve towards. Money is certainly an aspect of creating wealth, but it is not the end goal. Money, on the other hand, has an interesting lineage of its own. Can you imagine a time where we did not have money in human society? There was indeed a point where we did not. Thousands of years ago, I would try and walk up to you and trade 10 bales of hay for, say, a sheep, a pig, or a goat. And that worked for many years. Trade and barter were the way that civilization was created. But as you can imagine, that got pretty cumbersome over time. As we were trying to evolve and grow as a human species, it became more and more challenging to trade and barter in this way. So eventually, money in the form that we know it today of a currency was actually born. At this point, this really allowed the human species to completely take off in a new way. Today, that currency looks very different. Now, over 90% of the money that we exchange with one another does not exist in physical form. It's simply zeros and ones on bank account balances and computer screens. And all of this exists because you and I believe that it has value. We, as a society, have entered into an agreement where we agree that if I go to the coffee shop and I swipe my credit card and I exchange some of my zeros and ones, I can get a matcha latte in return. It is all a human agreement that we have entered into and that we continue to agree to as human beings in society. That again means that we create and are responsible for our relationship with this thing, and that at any point we have the opportunity to shift and evolve our relationship with it. Money itself is a neutral tool of exchange. The meaning comes from us as human beings placing a charge or an energy to this thing. Today, most people fall into one of two camps. Either you really idolize money, and it is something that you are working to achieve. Particularly in Western culture, we organize our societies around careers and being able to make money to provide for ourselves. But not simply just provide the basic necessities of life, but to really amass masses amount of money so that we can buy and accumulate more and more things. It has turned into the end goal. We choose our careers, just like I did, based on how much money that we can earn. And this has often no end in sight, right? We just continuously desire more and more and more. On the other side of the equation, there's the other camp that can often demonize and believe that money is a force for evil. Maybe you've been through an experience in your life where you have seen the destruction that money has caused. Maybe you've started to demonize it or believe that it is evil and avoid it altogether. Regardless of which camp you're in, it's clear that there is an opportunity to evolve our relationship with money. And the key isn't to shun or to idolize it. Rather, it is to integrate it, to use this thing as a force for good, and to consciously choose your and our relationship with it. Regardless of where you are on this spectrum, there are challenges. Money is often cited as the number one stressor in people's lives. The American Psychological Association did a study where it said that 72% of Americans feel stressed about money at least some of the time, and 22% report feeling extreme financial stress. This is a challenge. It means that this thing is impacting our own nervous system and our ability to function in society. It is also a key contributor to relationships and conflict. There was another study done by the American Psychological Association that showed that 55% 65% of Americans reported they agree or strongly agree that money is a major source of conflict in their household. Financial decisions are often driven by fear and concern more than logic alone. From an evolutionary perspective, there is a good reason for this. Today, we're no longer having to build our homes ourselves or going out to hunt for food. Instead, we rely on money to be able to provide for ourselves. So naturally, money is associated with safety and security. That question of will I have enough is often rooted in this question of will I be able to provide for myself? And maybe even deeper, am I as a human being enough? So, what once was simply a tool has been conflated with so much more, and honestly, rightfully so. So, where do we go from here? How do we shift our relationship with money? As a society, we have the opportunity to rewrite this contract that we have with money. Number one, we have to shift the way that we view wealth. Wealth does not equal money. Wealth is a state of well-being. It is the opportunity for us to understand what actually drives human fulfillment, to come back into alignment with the four aims of human life, and to align our resources accordingly with that. It is decoupling our self-worth with our net worth and ensuring that we recognize that every single human being, regardless of how much money they have, is still worthy of love and belonging and affection. It is understanding that all of this starts with ourselves, with you and me as individuals looking at our own relationships with money and repatterning and rewriting the beliefs that we as individuals hold. It's taking an ecosystemic view of wealth. Again, that means that wealth does not equal money, but it means that wealth and money are interconnected with every single facet of life. It's shifting from accumulation of money being the primary measure of success, and instead choosing to be in alignment with who we actually are as human beings. And lastly, it is understanding that money and wealth can be a catalyst for evolution itself, that we can shift beyond where we are currently in the state of accumulation, to see money as a reflection of energy and intention. And when we do this consciously, this allows us to organize societies that have impact for the good of all, that money really can be used as a force for good. How we will do all of this will be explored in future episodes. And I'll leave you with a couple of ways to begin rewriting this relationship with yourself today. This is the foundation of what we are doing at the Anya Institute in Integrative Wealth and creating a new certification for Integrative Wealth advisors. Traditional financial advice has been solely focused on accumulating assets. Integrative wealth advisors are focused on the intersection of identity, behavior, and resources. Who are you as a human being? How do you relate with your resources? And ultimately, how do you decide how to use them to create a life that is aligned with who you are and embody your full potential for yourself, but also for the well-being of society? This is very different than traditional financial advice. And it is our opportunity to evolve as a species to take money and take wealth to the next evolution of how it can help us create a more harmonious and connected world. So where can you start? Number one is to recognize that you control your relationship with money. It's not the other way around. Money, again, is a human invention, and you choose your relationship with it. If you feel a lot of emotion around money, you're not alone. And this is the first question to ask yourself. What does money actually mean to you? And when you say the word money, what emotions surface? Do you view it as a source of power, something that feels controlling to you? Do you have a lot of fear? Whatever comes up for you is perfectly fine. It's important, though, to have awareness of what type of charge you currently have around money. Money is a form of energy. It was created as this tool of exchange. So when I am exchanging money with you, there is an energy that is being shifted between the two of us. Energy, like money on its own, does not have a charge associated with it. It is simply a neutral force. Yet we as humans, as meaning-making beings, assign the emotion that we carry to these things. Thus, when you ask yourself and when you become aware of what energy you're charging this thing with, it allows you to create this freedom and begin rewriting the script. So ask yourself and notice, what emotion are you assigning to money? Generally, and also in certain situations. What weight are you assigning to it? Taking this a level deeper, money is ultimately a mirror. When you ask yourself what money means to you, you'll likely notice that there's an emotion that is tied to a deeper belief or a deeper memory around money. The first memory that we have around money has a great influence on the way that we view money today. The way that you were taught about money when you were young has substantial influence on how you view it in your own adult life. By asking these questions, you begin to create that awareness that allows you to chart that new course. Money is rarely just about money. It has all of these stories, emotions, and narratives associated with it. Money is a mirror. It reveals what you fear, what you prioritize, what you believe you need in order to feel safe, how you relate to value, power, freedom, self-worth. When you begin to explore your relationship with money, you begin unpacking all of these things. That's why money and resource management is a human development task. It requires you to get really real and get really honest about these conversations and the role that these things are playing in your life. So this week, today, I invite you to look at the emotions that you're carrying around money and then ask the deeper question. Where did this belief form? Why am I experiencing this emotion around money? Wealth is one of the 4 channels of human mastery, meaning that it is one of these primary channels that we can evolve as human beings. Wealth relates not just to money, but the way that we organize our lives, the way that we understand what our aims are and how we are going to allocate resources accordingly. We're going to be diving much deeper into this channel of human mastery and opportunity for human evolution in the episodes to come. This is the start of revolutionary wealth, and it's a conversation that we'll keep exploring here. The intersection of identity, behavior, and decisions to help you create a more aligned and fulfilling life. Thank you for being here with me today. I'll see you soon.